Welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a truly fascinating narrative lined up for you today. It kicks off with a mysterious discovery. You know, that classic, eerie setup that just immediately grabs your attention? But as we'll see, it quickly evolves into this profoundly life-changing lesson about what we value and ultimately how we grow.
Okay, let's dive into this. The story centers around a 12-year-old boy named Ethan. Now, every single morning, on his way to school, Ethan walks right past this decaying, completely abandoned property. The whole town calls it the Silent House. It's one of those creepy places that just seems frozen in time, you know? Holding secrets that everyone whispers about, but absolutely no one dares to investigate.
Section 1. The Silent House.
So, picture this. Dusty windows, peeling paint, and these wild climbing vines completely reclaiming the walls. It is literally the perfect backdrop for a mystery. Well, one rainy afternoon, right near the broken front gate, Ethan spots something shining in the dirt. He bends down and picks up an old brass key. And here's the detail that really gives you chills. The key felt surprisingly warm in his hand. He just couldn't stop thinking about it. So the very next day after school, he gathers up all his courage, pushes open that rusty, creaking gate, and steps inside. The air is thick with floating dust. There's old furniture covered in white sheets, and a grandfather clock standing perfectly still, frozen forever at exactly 4:15. The silence in there is absolute.
Now, the town was absolutely full of rumors about this place. People whispered that the house was haunted by ghosts, or that some old man had hidden a massive fortune of lost gold inside before just vanishing years ago. But Ethan's reality was entirely different. He didn't really buy into the spooky gossip. He was just driven by pure, quiet curiosity. And man, does that curiosity pay off. Breaking right through the town's myths, he makes a brave discovery. He spots a tiny wooden door hidden right beneath the main staircase, complete with a tiny little lock.
Section 2. Unlocking the Secret.
Imagine his heartbeat just racing at this point. He pulls out that warm brass key. Click, the lock opens. Behind this tiny door is a narrow staircase leading straight underground. With every single step downward into the dark, his heartbeat grows louder and louder. But at the bottom, he doesn't find ghosts, he doesn't find chests of gold coins. Instead, he finds a small, hidden room. It's filled with shelves, books, beautiful paintings, and dozens of wooden boxes. And right in the center stands a table holding a single envelope with his name on it. Well, not his actual name, but a title, for the one who finds the key. His hands are literally trembling as he opens it.
The letter inside contains this incredible quote. If you're reading this, then curiosity brought you here. That means you are exactly the kind of person I hoped would find this place. It turns out it was written by Arthur Bennett, who used to be the town's teacher. Arthur deliberately designed this whole mystery. He didn't just leave his belongings behind to rot. He actively waited for someone specific. He waited for someone whose curiosity far outweighed their fear of the unknown.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the complete redefinition of wealth here. In his letter, Arthur directly addresses all those crazy rumors. He writes, "People think I hid gold. They were wrong." Arthur reveals that the greatest treasure isn't monetary at all. The real treasure is knowledge, kindness, and the courage to ask questions. This completely flips the narrative of the haunted gold-filled house on its head. The house wasn't guarding riches, it was guarding intellect and human connection.
Section 3. A different kind of treasure.
So Ethan looks around the room and realizes that Arthur had spent his entire life collecting stories. I mean, every shelf holds books from all around the world. We're talking complex science journals, deep history books, thrilling adventure novels, expansive maps of the world, and, perhaps most uniquely, Arthur's own handwritten journals just filled with personal ideas. It's an absolute goldmine of human thought and creativity covering inventors, explorers, artists, and scientists.
Tucked among the collection, Ethan finds another note with some very clear, subtle directives from Arthur. First, take any book you need. Second, leave one lesson behind for the next visitor. It was an exchange, you see, a living library. And a little later on, Ethan discovers a small box containing an old camera and a notebook that adds the third step: create your own stories. Arthur wasn't just passing down static information, he was passing down a mandate to actually engage with the world.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact of that engagement. Over the next few weeks, Ethan returns to that underground room every single afternoon, and his reading directly translated into tangible personal growth. He studied inventors and explorers, and yeah, for sure, his grades improved significantly. But more importantly, as he absorbed stories of struggle and learned true empathy, he began helping classmates who were falling behind.
He started inviting lonely students to sit with him at lunch. He found courage in those adventure novels, and he used that exact courage to encourage younger children who were scared. The stories he read were literally becoming a part of who he was.
Which brings us to a really crucial turning point, beautifully captured in that notebook Ethan found alongside the camera. It reads, "Every generation needs storytellers. Don't just read stories, create them." This is the ultimate lesson of the source material. True learning isn't just about the passive consumption of knowledge, right? It's about taking what you've learned, letting it change you, and then stepping out to create new narratives and help others. Those words stayed with Ethan forever.
Section 4. The Next Curious Heart. Let's move to and see how this builds over time to leave a lasting legacy. If we map out the complete evolution of this property, it is honestly quite remarkable. Decades ago, it was just a creepy, abandoned silent house covered in vines. During Ethan's youth, it became the site of his incredible secret discovery. Through his adolescence, the knowledge within those walls fueled his deep personal growth. And as time passed and Ethan reached adulthood, the house was completely transformed. He didn't turn it into a stuffy museum, he restored it into a free community library. A place where children filled the rooms with laughter instead of silence, and that secret underground room remained open to absolutely anyone who loved learning.
Now I want you to picture that same old wooden table down in the center of the underground room. Only this time, there is a brand new envelope sitting on it. It perfectly mirrors Arthur's original letter, but the text on the front is slightly different. It reads, "For the next curious heart." Inside that new envelope is a letter written by a grown-up Ethan, passing the torch to the next generation. He writes, "I came here searching for treasure. Instead, I found purpose. Books changed my life because they taught me how to change someone else's." What a beautiful, beautiful culmination of his journey. It highlights why this entire story matters so much. Knowledge equips us with the empathy and the practical tools to actually impact the people around us. Ethan's letter finishes with this striking thought. The greatest doors in life don't open with keys. They open with curiosity. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of that laughter-filled library, the original old brass key now rests inside a glass case. Not because it unlocked a secret room, but because it unlocked a young boy's future. It really makes you wonder what abandoned ideas or quiet spaces in your own life are just waiting for you to get curious enough to turn the lock. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.